Hello, you're listening to Shelia Henry, licensed California therapist, marriage and family counselor in California, as well as the author of the book, Professional Mom's Guide to Success and Sanity, now available on Amazon.com. And some of you have probably heard of EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. If you haven't heard of it, maybe as you first encounter it, you're going to say, "What? This looks weird. It looks funny." But it works to reduce the stress. And so many mothers do have stress, especially mothers who are also working at another job. There are so many stressors, and I don't have time to go into those, and I think you know them. And perhaps you have seen ways to work with this on yourself. But what I want to talk to you about today is how you can use this as a means of touching and communicating with your child to handle your child's stress. Because you know what? When a mother is stressed and overwhelmed, guess who feels it? Even when the mother's pregnant. It is the baby, the child, that reacts to it. And as the mother learns to handle her own stress, she becomes a much happier mother, and guess what? That means the child is also happier and healthier. So while I'm going to show you these points of myself, and some of you can follow with me on these points, the interesting thing is you can use this with children. So, are you ready to start? Okay, so let's start. Let me explain what the points are, knowing that you don't have to use all of these points with your child as you touch your child, whether it's an infant or an older child. But the first point is what's called the karate chop point on the side of the hand. The next point is at the tip of the head. To find this point, you go from the tips of the ears to where the fingers meet at the crown, and there's kind of a little indentation. The next point is the eyebrow point. One or both hands, one or both sides. Under the eyes, between the nose and mouth, between the cleft of the chin. The collarbone point is about an inch below the collarbone and about an inch to the side. And the last place is the top of the brow point. Okay, so those are the points. And this is a combination of ancient acupuncture, which has been around for thousands of years, and Western psychotherapy. For yourself, if you have a problem, let's say guilt because you don't have enough time to spend with your family, your children, or your job. And guilt is something that bothers a lot of people. Okay? Then we would talk about that. And we might mention 3 times as we talk around the karate chop point, this is the problem, and you state the problem. I feel guilty because I don't have enough time. Or I feel guilty because I'm not a super mom. Then we look at how deep is this problem on a scale of 0 to 10. With 10 being, "Oh, I'm in agony, I'm going to die." 0 doesn't bother me at all. So you think of this problem you have, and you assign it a number. Let's say a 6. And we're going to tap on these points for it to go down. With a child, because numbers may not mean anything to him, you might do something like this, holding your arms up. How big is it? This big or this small? This big, this small. If the child is old enough to show you. If the child isn't old enough, well, you can still just tap on with the child. Now, I'm not going to go into the things you say, but you start with the problem with the kid. I know you're crying a lot and because you're upset, but I love you. I know you're crying a lot, but you're real upset, but you're still a good kid. And so you go down. Yes, you're crying a lot. You had a bad day at school. Some of the children picked on you. Or you're cranky, you have diaper rash and it itches. Or you're hungry and you can't eat yet. Or something like you're sick and you don't feel well and maybe you have to go to the doctors and you don't like the doctors because they give you injections. But you're a good kid. With adults, what we've said instead is, I love and accept myself, something like that. Well, that doesn't mean too much to a kid. It's, you're a good kid. I'm a good kid if he's old enough to talk himself. Okay? Then, if the child is old enough to tap on himself, you're going to be doing that. Or, if that doesn't work, a child might tap on a teddy bear or a doll. It's this idea of lowering the stress level, because that's what happens with the tapping. It's been shown that over a period of time, that when somebody's upset, the stress hormones like cortisol go way up. And there's a lot of reasons which are basically there to protect us when we were primitive man or woman. But today's world, we just sometimes build up so much tension. And so this sense of touch is so helpful for the child. Okay, whether you're doing it to him or her, or she's learning to do it herself. And this calms the child down so that you can talk about, okay, maybe what's happening, or some of the crankiness ends. As you're doing it yourself, you may want to think of things like, my infant's crying all the time is so hard on my nerves, but I deeply and completely love and accept myself. They have said that this even works on animals, that there are points on animals that are good. I don't know about that, but it's just this sense of touch and holding, which is so important. I don't know if you knew it, but when infants don't get enough touch, some of them have just died in a nursery. And so this sense of touch is so important. And it brings back a sense of calmness, a sense, oh, I am loved. I am taken care of. Just like it's so important for us adults to be touched, whether it's with our mate or when the kids grow up, even with a dog. This sense of touch is what does bring us to the point of being human, of having our stress levels go down. And when that happens, we're so much healthier and happier. So I want to thank you for being with me and try this tapping with your child. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Remember, my book, Professional Mom's Guide to Success and Sanity, is available on Amazon right now. So, this is Shelia Henry saying thank you and goodbye.